All right, what's going on, guys? We are live, and I think we have this just about figured out. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a deep dive into the Real Grit podcast. It's a podcast with Neil Timmins that we were just on, and let's go ahead and just get into it.
Grit. Let's get to it.
Right now, I've got Wyatt Reed and Jon Coleman. I'll tell you what, this is like a brotherhood in partnerships. It is a wonderful story about how two guys got connected, what they're doing from an owner finance standpoint, and how they're helping folks get their first deal in real estate. Coming right up, Wyatt Reed, Jon Coleman. Wyatt Reed, Jon Coleman. I'm excited to talk to you. I'm glad you're both here. How are you guys?
Doing great, man. How about you?
I'm terrific. Thanks. Well, thanks for taking the time to connect. Listen, we all got started someplace in real estate. How in the world did you guys get started?
We got a pretty good story, man.
Yeah.
We've been in real estate for about 4 years, individually, but together we've been about 2 years.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years now.
And I was doing real estate investing, and he was on the retail side, and we just kind of connected over Facebook. He had a deal that he was going to look at. It was a tiny home community, and so I rode along with him, and man, we've been friends ever since.
Is that right? Yeah. Well, if you can't bond over time.
So let's talk about this tiny home community. Jon, like I said, Jon was in the retail side of things. He was a realtor, but he was also working with investor buyers. And I was at the time just doing the real estate investing and working a 9-to-5 job. We had connected over Facebook, and he had actually listed a tiny home community in Valley Head, Henniger, Alabama. So I think it was about a 2-hour drive. And so he messaged me on Facebook and asked if I'd go take a look at it with him. And we got there. We went through all of them. I think it was around 15 to 20 of them. And we had got to one of the last days. We'd been up there multiple times. And what had happened was a golden nugget for you guys is don't give more information to the seller than what is asked. So we started talking about our strategy, the BRRRR method, which stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. And we started talking about refinancing the hard money or the private money out of these properties. And when he heard about refinancing, which he had never heard of before, he said, so I can pull all of my money out of these properties and still keep the cash flowing properties. And of course, he took them off the market and decided he wasn't going to sell. So it was probably for the best. We lost out on that one, but man, it was such a great bonding experience. That drive, that 2-hour drive, it really, let us bond and get to know each other a little bit more.
Home communities, I don't know what you can bond over, right?
Right. Yeah, that was good. It was good.
So you guys got connected then as partners, and then what does that look like? What do you guys do?
Right. So we started off wanting to do like a nationwide wholesaling company, and we quickly realized how tough that was going to be. And then we kind of just been tweaking our structure ever since. We do wholesaling, and we do creative financing. We've got a couple of storage facilities. So altogether, I think we have around 168 doors.
Yeah, and our main bread and butter though is seller finance and single family homes.
So there's a couple of ways you can do nationwide wholesaling. You can do it virtually, or you can do what we were actually thinking about doing, and that is to put a brick and mortar in different regions. And it's tough. We've got a couple of friends. We have several friends that do virtual wholesaling. And you can be successful doing it. But we had several deals sent to us by virtual wholesalers, friends of ours, and we would always go look at them, and they would never be in the condition that these guys had said they were. So that's something we didn't want to deal with. We wanted us to look like we knew what we were doing. So we decided we wanted to do a brick and mortar. So we started hiring people and setting up for that structure. And we quickly realized how hard it was to manage people here locally, not to mention 5-10 hours away. And so we just decided to stay local, get our systems and processes in place, get it tweaked, and get the income flowing here locally before we decided to reach out. And we probably will, not really wholesaling, but we probably will buy like storage facilities, apartment complexes, things like that, virtually.
Or financing single family homes. Well, let's go down that. Talk to me about marketing to those folks. Is there something that you do that's unique in the sense of, I just want people who are free and clear, whatever it may be. And then we'll go down that rabbit hole of what you do after you get a seller finance deal. Just talk to me on the marketing side and getting a list.
Yeah, so we started off, we were texting, doing ringless voicemail, things like that, and then it quickly got to, I mean, there are more rules and regulations coming in every day on that stuff. So it quickly become more of an IT job than it did an actual marketing job, and so we've transitioned everything to REI print mail, and we've got a really great relationship with those guys, and then we just give them our criteria. So. We're more volume than anything. We don't do really niche lists. So we pull high equity lists and we pull landlord and vacant lists. All right. So I took the long way to get to that answer. And so what he asked was, what kind of list do we pull? Who do we really target? And so in real estate, for the new investor or somebody that's wondering what the heck we're talking about, for marketing, you've got to pull a list of people to market to. And so he was asking us, do we pull niche list or what kind of list do we pull? And we pull more for volume. So we'll pull a high equity list or we'll pull a landlord list. We don't go in and really niche it, which means just putting a whole bunch of filters in. So if I go to PropStream and I type in Athens, Alabama, I'm going to pop up however many properties there are. Let's just say 30,000. And for me to go in and then filter for landlord or high equity, it'll probably drop it to anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000 contacts, right? And that's a list that we're going to be hitting. Whereas some people go in and they put many filters in, and then they niche it all the way down to like 100 to 200 contacts. I think you're really missing out on a bunch of people. Not saying that you can't do that and be successful. I just think you're really missing out on a bunch of people if you're niching it down to 100 to 200. A lot of people really base that on budget, but I don't think that that's an excuse either, because you can also go in and pick, say, if you only can afford 100 to 200 people, then you can go in and filter for those first 100 to 200, and then you can keep going down that list in increments. So we hit for volume, not niched, and hit those across cities.
Right.
Multiple cities. I mean, are they close to you or are you kind of spread out?
They're all within about a 30-minute drive. From
all within driving distance.
Right.
Okay, got it. All right. So very focused on mail. And then certainly you get some people who, does your mail piece talk about seller finance?
No.
Just
So,
motivated seller. Yep.
right. So we do seller finance on the end. I mean, which we've done sandwich deals before where we got seller financing on both ends, but primarily we buy these properties and then using the BRRRR method, we leverage other people's money and then.
Got it. All right. No, totally got it. So it's not creative finance on the front side. It's seller finance on the back side.
All right, let's talk about this because he blew past it right afterwards. So what we do is we use the BRRRR method to purchase properties. The BRRRR method stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. So we leverage other people's money, whether that be hard money, private money, money that we raise, and we purchase these properties. And then we turn around and we put a renter or a tenant buyer in, and then we refinance them that money out. And so for the BRRRR method to be used for rental properties, we'll put a renter in there and then refinance for a monthly rent, right? And then for seller financing, what we'll do is we'll put a tenant buyer in there for terms. So we'll actually be acting as the bank. We'll give them a mortgage as far as a 20-year loan. We'll put it on a 10%, 10 to 12% interest rate, and we'll get some type of down payment. Most of the time it's a minimum of 10% down. And so Mike, we got a battery. We got to change our battery. Dang, Mike.
Somebody's commenting right now.
I can't read that. I need glasses.
It's Devin Dillard says, dropping links in this thing like a YT post. I don't think I've checked out the YT post yet.
Man, check it out. Mike's changing the battery on this camera. So let's keep rolling on this thing while he's doing that.
One goes out the door to somebody else.
Yeah.
All right, clear. Sounds good. Well, it goes out to the door to somebody else. So let's talk about that. The ability to market, to find somebody who, wants to buy on contract, with your seller financing. What do you do from a marketing standpoint there?
Primarily Facebook Marketplace. We put it out on Facebook Marketplace, with the price, the terms, the monthly payment, interest rate, asking price, all of that. And that's really the only place that we market them.
Got it. And so average sales price, it looks like what for you guys?
I would say our average is probably around 175,000.
Got it. Are you, before you go out and sell these things, you clean them up? They look pretty? They all over the board?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, it depends. We do, we don't say, well,
That look and laugh tells me there's a story there. You
yeah,
have totally sold some dumpsters, haven't you?
Yeah.
Guys, we mostly try to buy turnkey properties to seller finance just because we don't want to have to deal with doing any rehab or anything like that. But you can buy dumpsters like what he said and seller finance them as well. I know several people that do that, and we've got a few that are in really rough condition. You can seller finance to an investor and let them flip the property, and then you can do it that way. You don't have to have a long-term tenant buyer in there. There are multiple different strategies you can use with the seller finance and creative financing in general.
Try to primarily purchase mainly turnkey, just cosmetics. We don't try to mess with anything with major issues like foundations or needing a roof, HVAC. We have done that. He's bought a couple where he had to put an HVAC in them. But myself personally, all of mine have been for the most part turnkey. Maybe they need flooring, paint, things of that nature. But we do have a couple that we just purchased, that we're kind of testing the waters with, but we got them at a really good deal. Well, and, we were actually able to get the owner to owner carry to us on these two as a package, so we bought those for $45,000 with 10% down. So after closing, our principal on that one was $35,000. Our monthly payment on both of those houses together is $276. And one of them we're going to turn around and it needs the least work of the two, but we're going to turn around and seller finance it for $130,000. So that's going to be a really nice spread on it.
Yep.
Guys, here's the thing about seller financing and why we've kind of transitioned into that more than just buying rentals. You definitely do need to continue to buy rentals because it's generational wealth. It helps with your taxes, tax incentives and all that. But you get a spread like you would a flip long term. And like Jon said, we keep anywhere from a $40,000 spread from what we purchased it at to what we're selling them, the tenant buyers at. So it's a $40,000 minimum all the way up to we've gotten a $70,000 spread. And so you get that spread on top of the interest and that you get the cash flow. On an average rental property, if you're borrowing and leveraging other people's money, you're going to be getting roughly around $250 cash flow per door. On these, we get anywhere from $500 to $700, and some of them like these, if you get it at a really good price, over $1,000 cash flow in 1 to 2 doors. So that's why we're doing it. You get your cash flow up because cash is king. You run your company off cash flow. You don't have to worry about anything.
And then the other one, it needs some work. It needs some love, man.
Yep.
So we'll probably try to get around 70 to 80 out of it and see how it goes. It's going to be more of a live-in flip type deal.
Sure. All right. So the first one's going out the door at about $130,000.
Yeah.
Down payment's going to be what?
Down payment on that one will be 13 grand.
13 grand. All right. So 10% down. And then what kind of rate terms does it look like?
Our minimum interest rate is 10%. So we typically go 10 to 12%, depending on what our interest rate is at the time whenever we purchase. So this one will go 10%.
Interest rates are going up. We're somewhere between 6.5% to 7% now, depending on the bank. And we always try to keep a 4% spread between our interest rate and their interest rate. That's why we do a 10 to 12% interest.
And we try to keep it 20 to 30 years. We don't like going over 30 years. That's pretty much our max. And we like to keep it down around 20 if possible. But, depending on the individual, we'd be willing to go up to 30.
Yeah. The shorter amortization, the better, right?
Right.
Get that money coming back. Yeah. Much faster. Okay.
It's been pretty good though, because our average net.
Right. You're fixing to say we kind of disagree because we're leveraging other people's money and then refinancing that money out. Right. So we don't have any money in it. So we're not in a rush to get our money back. Actually, the longer the term, the more money you make off interest. So if you don't have any of your own money, you're not trying to rush to get all your money back out. A 30-year loan is way better because you get that extra 5 years of interest.
Cash flow is $742 a month.
Incredible.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge for you guys, finding properties to buy or finding buyers to sell them to?
I would say properties to buy.
Yeah, definitely. We're getting our marketing in and deals are coming in, but I mean, we have a ton of buyers that have reached out to us and they're wanting houses, and these people are, a lot of them aren't able to just go to the bank. So it's been pretty good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're unbankable for one reason or another, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of these people that are getting the interest rates or that are tenant buyers, they can't go to the bank and get a normal loan, whether that be because of their credit or whatever the issue is. So it is a good thing, that we can help other people get into properties, into houses, into owning their own houses that they can't just go to the bank and get. We do have a high interest rate, but we're not doing this for free. We've got to make money too. So people need to understand that. We don't do all of this stuff just for fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause it right there, and we're going to do a 2-part series. So Monday, we're going to come back on and we're going to watch the rest of this thing and answer some more questions if you got any. So you guys have a great rest of the night. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And we will